Hey, it's Mike Karolyi from the Rock 106.9 WCCC, hanging at the New England Music Seminar.
And I'm Jay Raven from the Rock 106.9 WCCC, again, hanging at the New England Music Seminar 2010.
Kevin W. Reese.
How do you think the whole state of radio, combined with the music biz, is changing with this whole PPM rating system? Definitely want to start with you being the music director.
Well, I think with PPM taking over, it's really made programmers scared. And now all the programmers think we've got to be mainstream and mass appeal, and we got to appeal. We can't offend anybody at any second, because if you do, it's going to be a tune-out, and they're never going to come back. So it's a whole different world. In the old system, with the diary system, it was a whole different thought process, because people had time to fill out their diaries and say, all right, this is who I listen to. And a lot of times with the diary system, it was who was cool to listen to, not really who you necessarily listen to. So if it was cool to listen to CCC, even though at work you had to listen to RCH, you put down CCC. Now with PPM, it's really whatever is on where you are. If you're in the store and a certain radio station's on, that station gets credit. If you're in your car and you got CCC on, CCC gets credit. So the programmer philosophy is this: mainstream, safe, boring, and people will stay tuned in. So that's kind of how it's changed. Whereas before we could kind of push the envelope a little bit, we've got to pull it back now.
And I think that these artists need to understand the PPM thing.
Yeah.
Raven, do you think that the labels are going to be fighting for airtime, for play?
Well, I think that labels are fighting for airtime already. I mean, that happens all the time. They're doing that on a daily basis, week in, week out. I mean, we were talking about radio ads before. Everybody wants their record played. There's a limited amount of space as to where that's going to happen. So, you know, I think that they're always trying to gauge what it is that we're thinking. At the same time, you know, while we're talking about being safe and being mainstream, you can't be bland. You know, you don't want to be the ragu of radio where there's no spice. I mean, there's got to be something that people remember, that they recall, that they want. I mean, think about it. When you do something dangerous, you go and you do it again because it's fun. So, you know, while we're talking about the whole business as a radio jock, I mean, that's part of what we're doing still. You know, I mean, you've got to find a way to make the content be the key. The music is either going to be good or bad. You know, if people are going to tune away, you've got to give them a reason to never leave. You know, you've got to be doing that in between the records, and that's important. As an artist, you just got to do what you believe in and then see where it takes you. You know?
Do you think that this new people meter rating system is good or bad for radio or the music industry?
I think mostly it's just different. I think we're going to get used to it, and it's going to be, you know, business as usual. I think the initial thought is, oh, it's bad because it's different. I think we're just going to have to get used to it. It's just the way of the world, you know.
Right. So just adjust and keep going. Now, right now, it's a thing of, you know, they wear the beepers, right? The little people meter, so to speak. Do you see it evolving to the same technology, but in your car or on your cell phones? So you don't have to wear something specific. It's just automatic?
It would be easy for that to happen in the next probably 10 years easily, probably even in the next 2 to 3 years, honestly, as more and more cars are coming out now with OnStar already installed, both a radio system, an iPod hookup, and, of course, you know, satellite capability, whether it be for navigation or whatever. So when you get in your car and you've got a sync system and you've got a 60-gig hard drive in it or whatever, obviously it's going to upload and download to something every day. So it's just another point, whether it be low jack or some sort of big brother listening device. If you want your information taken, it's going to be taken. And probably sometimes without your knowledge, your information is going to be taken anyways.
Right. Now, me doing urban radio for 13 years, I know how the unsigned urban artists are. There's a lot of desperation out here in Connecticut, New England as a whole. People trying to get their records played and running up on you with CDs and all sorts of stuff. Sometimes not even labeled. Sometimes it's Sharpie. I was wondering what it's like on the rock side of things, because there's a lot of independent bands out there. They're playing the Webster. They're playing Toads. They're out there. They're building a buzz. What's it like for you with them trying to get on WCCC?
It's really the same thing. I mean, we're approached all the time at shows, and wherever we are, CDs are being put in our hands, and that's fine. We're more than happy to listen to new music. Most of it's not worth putting on the radio, and don't take it personally if you're a local artist, but it's just not. That just means you have to play more shows, you got to write more songs, you got to work on your craft. So many artists, local artists especially, think that they've written some songs, they've made a CD, and now the rest of the world owes them their career.
That's right.
And it's not the case.
And radio owes them play.
Yeah, like, because, well, we're from Bristol, so you should be playing us. Well, what does that have to do with it? Yeah, right. So, it really, that does not factor into it. It has to be good. If it's not, keep doing it. Keep playing the shows. Keep writing your songs until it is good.
Do you think that segments such as you guys have Homegrown. I used to have a segment called the Unsigned Showdown where we'd pit two songs against each other. Do you think segments like that can help, or do you think they feel like it's still not enough? They want to be in rotation at 3 in the afternoon.
That's going to depend a lot around how much you regulate it. Like you did the show for all those years, the same thing where we're doing at CCC. If we just put everything on because it was local, then it's not going to translate very well. People aren't going to believe in that. If we have something that we finally believe in, we go, listen, we want you to check this out. We want you to really, really, really give it a shot, and then you can decide whether or not you like it after. If the quality of everything else you've been playing on there is, inconsistent or inconsistent at best, if it's, been all over the place, the chances are people aren't really going to listen. It's kind of like crying wolf. If you've had a certain standard, the band must be working. They must be doing shows. They must be still together. The recording's got to be in, say, the last, 16 months or something like that.
Have a buzz.
Yeah, then there's things that can happen with it. That being said, if it's that good, it goes into regular rotation. It doesn't stay there. There's always good to have an advocate. If you're in a radio station, you want a local person who's really fighting for that music. But that person has got to be doing it with a sense of standard to it. They've got to say, I'm not believing in it because I like these guys and they're nice guys and they're from, my hometown. I'm believing in it because I see them working, they're improving, their songs are good, they connect with the people, they're investing in themselves. That's really the difference.
Coming to the New England Music Seminar, throwing a few bucks down to learn something, Switching gears a little bit. Wildest or craziest thing you've ever seen in the radio biz?
Oh, man. Yeah.
He gets to think about it. This isn't fair.
I don't know if I can name specifics because the stories
This
that.
is the web, bro.
Well, I can tell you that there are certain requests from artists that are just like, there was one artist that asked us to get blow and porn for him, and he was doing a show in Hartford, and he's like, this is what I need. And we send our people out, and we got the porn. But
So drugs and porn was a part of his rider, basically.
it was part of the rider, but for some reason, maybe it wasn't enough because he looked for us for more. So we got him the porn, but he was on his own with the blow, So
How about you?
That was
From a listener?
It wasn't the peak of that artist's career, by the way. So, maybe we would have had to try harder for him or whatever. With artist stories, that's all pretty nuts. I'd have to say Woodstock 99 was pretty nuts, being on stage with Godsmack and 7S and being, looped out of our trees while we were out there. We were sent down to cover the event. We're calling in on the wrong days, saying the wrong stuff, and when the place went and burned up, we were like, people are dying, man. Yeah, it was pretty nuts.
How about listeners? Craziest, wildest listener story.
That's pretty wild.
yeah, well, we have one guy who I haven't seen in a while. Hopefully he's okay. We call him Bloody Metal Guy. And he shows up at like Ozfest and stuff, and he bloodies himself. Like he will pound his face until he bleeds. And then it's just his face is covered in blood. We don't even know his name. We call him Bloody Metal Guy. We don't even know, but he comes out, bloodies himself. And, yeah. That's pretty crazy.
And you've seen him more than twice.
Oh, yeah, he's a regular. I haven't seen him in a while. That's why I hope he's all right. He may have taken that Bloody Metal Guy too far. I don't know, but.
How about you, Raven?
All that is crazy. That's for sure. You get a lot of offers as to people who want to get closer to people. That happens too. I'll do anything, those type of conversations. And then, you go to the shows and you see people that have been at it for days or whatever. We've got guys that win tickets to every single show that they could be, so they keep on showing up to me. 4 or 5 days in a row. That's crazy in itself. But there's definitely a lot of rabid fans out there. We love that. That's great. That means that we're getting in front of people's face. They're paying attention to what we're doing. They're not just dismissing us in the background. That happens to a lot of radio. And you don't want to do that. You want to reach right out and grab people. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, cool. Now me and this guy, we went to school together. CSB. CSB. And go figure, this is kind of a freaky, weird story. We ended up doing a mock morning show together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still have the tape.
Here.
I still have the tape.
He tells me every time I see him, I got that tape, like he's going to sell it somewhere.
I remember my name was Kevin Rockin' Real.
Nice.
I don't know if you remember that.
Nice.
And we did a mock show, and I brought in props, and we like literally like a 2-hour show. And didn't find out till almost 10, 15 years later that he was Jay Raven from CCC, and I was K-Dub from Hot 93.7.
Kevin W. Reese.